Cooties for Black Girl Nerds.
Well, I thank you so much. I'm Jeandra from Black Girl Nerds. It is such a pleasure to speak with you. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you.
It is a pleasure to be with you. Well, congratulations on The Masked Singer. Even though you exit maybe a little sooner than you would have liked to, it's quite an extraordinary experience. As a person who comes from such a theatrical background, what has this experience been like for you? It's so clouded in so much secrecy and fun.
Well, it was both of those things. It was secrecy and fun, and it came right out of the blue. I didn't expect it. I didn't have any sort of advance warning. They just said, "Would you like to be on?" And would you have to come back to LA? I was in Europe, so I thought about it, and I thought, well, actually, they said it's a very silly show, and I said, well, actually, I've been on a few very silly shows in my time, so I know that. And then they said, well, you could be a hedgehog, and that really talked me into it because I'm pretty much of an old hedgehog myself. I get prickly and roll into a ball when attacked. So I thought it's a perfect character for me. And then I had a secret reason which I didn't tell them, which is that I sort of recently survived pancreatic cancer, and I wanted to see if I could still do it. I've done something I've done all my life. You sing and dance and show off, and you dress up in silly costumes, but I wanted to see if I could still do it, having survived this rather foul and horrible, threatening experience. And so I did do it, and it was wonderful. I had a terrific time. They couldn't have been nicer. And afterwards, I thought to myself, well, now I should unmask myself as a survivor and help other people and start a fund. I've started the Bright Side Fund and allied with Stand Up to Cancer, and try and raise money to help, help more research and early testing and places where my doctor and I feel we can actually do some good. So that's what we're doing, and this is the start of it all. So I'm very excited.
That is really marvelous. I lost my grandmother to pancreatic cancer, so this is very touching to me. It's such it is a miracle. You are a miracle. It moves so quickly, and it's so debilitating so quickly. Do you consider now this experience as almost kind of a bucket list in a sort, in a sense? And it's been a great catapult to announce your survival status and your commitment to raising funds?
Well, that's what I thought. Normally, if you do promotion after one of these things, and it's very regular, and you try and sell your book or your film or what have you been in last, and I thought, no, this is a perfect opportunity to come out and tell people that I'm a survivor. This can be survived. It is a terrible disease, and it's very high death rates, so it's good news, I think, for people to hear that somebody survived it, and somebody in television or showbiz or whatever, somebody who sings Always Look on the Bright Side of Life gets to survive from this vile disease. And so that's what I'm doing, and it feels very right. So the Masked Singer actually changed my life. And I'm very grateful to them, and they've supported me. And almost everybody I talk to has some relative or somebody who has suffered it or survived it. Very few have survived, but I think we can increase those numbers now. I think we know what they're doing, and that we can actually put money where it really can help and help real people survive. I think that would be a useful thing to do for the life they've granted me, which is really nice.
It's brilliant. It is so brilliant that you are committed to this, because so many people suffer from cancer, but no one gets into really enough of the specifics of treatment and just the debilitating cost of research and all of these things necessary to wipe out this disease. So kudos to you. Thank you so much for doing that, because so many people will benefit, or even from just seeing your story or reading your book will receive inspiration to keep fighting. And a lot of times that's what it's about. You need a reason to keep fighting, and you're a wonderful example of that.
Some hope is what we need. And I think this is why I wanted to spread the good news, that there is some hope. Somebody as silly as me can actually have this thing and still be here. Nothing I did. It's entirely due to brilliant doctors, and they caught it early, and they whipped me into an operation, and I was fortunate enough to survive, and I think that's a very lucky thing. And I wanted to sort of share that, because I think giving people hope, as you say, is a very useful thing to do. And because normally there's no coming back from it normally. So it is, if you catch it early, is the point. And there are brilliant doctors, and there are people doing research, and Stand Up to Cancer is a wonderful charity I partnered with, and they're very helpful. And then they've helped me set up the Bright Side Fund, so we can help other people look on the bright side too. And I feel very fortunate to be in this position. Really, it's nice to.
It is wonderful. And I don't think you're silly at all. Silly people don't win Tony Awards. So I think you're quite brilliant, but we'll call it silly for now. So I must know, Love Me Do is a favorite of mine. I had to sing that in high school for a musical. I was a musical theater kid too, and we used it for something. What was on the short list of songs? How did you land on Love Me Do?
It's interesting because they say, well, now, you've chosen a costume, now choose a song. And you go, oh gosh, what am I going to play? And I play guitar. It's what I do with my time off. I just play guitar and have fun and sing to myself. And I was listening to Love Me Do, and I thought, oh, this is a terrific song. It's very simple, but it's very good. And so I have a friend who worked in Apple, because I know how hard it is to get Beatle permission. And he said, well, don't worry, it's not a Beatle copyright. It's actually owned by Sir Paul McCartney, because he wrote it at 16.
Really?
Song. Yes. So he owns it. He owns some of his own things he'd written outside of the Beatles. So he said, why don't you write to him? I think he's forgiven you for now, because I sort of played him on the Ruttles, So it's like, and so I wrote to him, and he said, yes. He said, absolutely. Yes. He was very, very sweet. And he said, but just do me a favor, tell me when it's on so I can be sure to miss it.
Oh. How does one call Sir Paul McCartney? Do you just have him in his phone? Like, how do you connect with each other?
Well, I was good friends with George Harrison for a long time, and I met him at many of the memorial things, and he even asked me to be on their 50th Ed Sullivan show doing a Ruttles joke. So, he's an English boy. We bumped into each other from time to time, and he's wonderful, and I figured he might be helpful, because I think Linda passed away from cancer. So and he has, and he's been very supportive and very sweet, and as he is, he's a really nice guy. I mean, and funny, which I think was the secret to the Beatles. Actually, they were funny. Other rock groups weren't that funny, but the Beatles were.
You always got to have a good sense of humor. It's part of looking on the bright side of life. You've got to have a sense of humor about things.
You have to, for everything. I think it's a great help in life, I think.
Absolutely. Well, sir, it is an honor to speak with you. I thank you for your time. I thank you for your crusade. So many people will benefit from what you are doing, just drawing attention to it. And it has just been an honor to speak with you. I'm glad you enjoyed your experience, because I was sure happy to watch you do it.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your words, and it's people like you encourage me, and that's lovely. It's good to know.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Better shake your booties for black girl nerves. Better shake your booties for black girl nerves.